Alright, so I made a comment on a guy's video, and I gotta be honest, I don't remember the name of his channel. I'm gonna have to put it down below or up here somewhere. And then I got inundated with comments. I even had people come into my channel and saying, well, hey, if you have these stories, why don't you go ahead and tell them? So his comment, or his video, was actually about some of the, let's just say, shady business practices that AutoZone was doing. And, I said, hey, man, I worked in management. I have, I can tell you some stories. And I wanted to, I actually really wanted to work with him. I didn't, my channel is about tech and occasional auto repair. But, it's mainly about tech. So, um, my face isn't really important in all this, so so I recorded some gameplay footage, and hopefully I don't use all of it. Hopefully I don't go into a 45-minute rant about AutoZone. Because I recorded about 45 minutes of gameplay footage, which you've been seeing this whole time. So, anyway, what I want to talk about is why are so many people quitting AutoZone? And because I'm seeing a lot, I'm in at least one Facebook group on, well, yeah, one AutoZone group on Facebook, and but I quit in 2021, in July of 2021. Most of what I'm going to have to say is really going to be relevant up until that point, and I do know a lot of what's going on at AutoZone because I do still talk to some of my old coworkers, and but the reality is, a lot of people are leaving AutoZone. There's a few reasons. One is abuse, or one of which is pay. When I started in September, I think it was, of 2016. At the time, I was working at a warehouse, and my son was on the way, so I wanted to get some extra cash. So I started working 2 days. I worked 4 days a week at a warehouse, and then I was working 2 days a week at AutoZone. And AutoZone, the manager there, said, "Hey, what if we pay you $1 an hour more than you're making with them?" All right, I'll come up. I'll stay. I'll stay. And so I ended up being what they call, because at the time I was just a driver, and I was a driver, and I also helped on the retail counter. And at that point, I had worked for Advanced Auto Parts for 5 years, left them in 2011 to go work at a warehouse. And then that warehouse did a bunch of layoffs, and then I ended up working at AutoZone. Hey, noticing the trend? 5 years warehouse, 5 years, well, 5 years Advanced, 5 years warehouse, 5 years AutoZone, and now I'm at a warehouse again. But when I started, I think at the time, in Delaware, the minimum wage was $9 an hour, or maybe a little bit less. But they paid me exactly $9 an hour, which I didn't really care because like I said, it was just some extra cash for to put away for my son being born. And then they ended up paying me quite a bit more. I was actually technically overpaid for the position that I was in, and so when I went to full time, they couldn't really give me like a big raise because I was already making basically what you could as oh yeah, because I took the job of CS, which was underneath of another girl, not like that, and then she I'll just be nice and just say that she got transferred to another store. Um, and then I took over full-time commercial there. So when I took over as the commercial sales manager, I was told that I was technically overpaid as a commercial specialist, so they would only give me $1 an hour raise. I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, and then, you know, when I left, I didn't leave over pay. That I'm gonna make that very clear. But a lot of people are. When at one point, I realized that my best driver, he had been with us at that point 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years. Was making $9.19 an hour. I thought for sure he was making like 10 or 12. I'm like, holy fuck! I'm making like not like almost $10 an hour more than you. Like how the hell is this possible? And like I went to management about this, and then they tried to get both of us fired because we were talking about pay. Like this dude is like literally, really the only person I trust to run this program when I'm not here, and you guys are doing this to him. Actually, he's still with the company now. He's went to panel really for CSM, but he, like I said, he's still with the company. But when I was in a commercial sales manager, I was actually making more, if you don't count bonuses, more than some store managers were, which was really weird to think about. And what really got me, so, AutoZone, one of the problems is they can't really afford to pay people that are really good unless they're in an upper management position. And like the one lady I know, she was working as an ASM, and she was barely getting paid more than she was as a PSM. And in my opinion, based on the couple of stores that I worked at, your PSMs are who really run the store. But the reason you get asked for, if you want to buy spark plug anti-seize every time you buy spark plugs, or if you want to buy an air filter when you buy an oil filter, if you want to buy a belt when you buy a tensioner or an alternator, or those little packets that they get you for on the battery, like the little with the little the grease and the washers, is because that affects the store manager's bonus. That's what they call WIT, what it takes to do the job right. Whittager, what it takes to do the job right. And there's 4 categories on that: starters and alternators, batteries, spark plugs, and then oil filters. So if you buy a set of spark plugs, they'll try to push wires, unless your car doesn't have wires, or they'll try to push the packets of dielectric grease for the spark plug boots, or the anti-seize. Now the thing about the anti-seize is like most of your Denso plugs and your NGK plugs, especially the iridiums, already have anti-seize on them from the factory and tell you not to add anti-seize. But they want you to do it because that's what it takes to do the job right. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Wait, how can you get me started? I'm recording this and you're not even going to see it for 6 days. But the reality is that, all this stuff is because of bonuses. Yeah, when you do an oil change, like a couple things that anyway, that's really for another section. But then, like on the pay thing, like I said, like they don't really pay these people right. And like if you're just a kid, they try to pay you literally minimum wage. If you have a little bit of experience, they'll try to pay you a little bit more than minimum wage. But the best way to get a raise from AutoZone is to quit. Go work for Advance or O'Reilly's. We don't have O'Reilly's here in this area, but and then uh, and then reapply, because as soon as you work for another competitor, they'll give you a raise. I've seen so many people do that, but I I at my age, where I grew up, the time frame that I grew up in, I I try to be consistent. Like, if you're, I don't like to job hop, but the reality is sometimes you kind of have to if you really want to get more money in life. But I hate doing it. And then, but yeah, that's just the weirdest thing. Like, I've seen so many people, they were making $9 an hour or $10 an hour, so they put in an application at Advance, worked there for 2 weeks, reapplied to AutoZone, and got brought back at 12. If you thought this person was worth it, why not just give them a raise when they ask for it? Because, like, if you ask for a raise, they'll tell you they can't do it. But, like, another thing as far as pay goes is this one I really pissed off management with. Um, they'll, you work your 5 days or your 40 hours, right? So you'll get a call on your day off. Hey, can, can you work tonight at the Lancaster Avenue store? They had a call out. We need a manager that can run it. Can you please do that for us, please? Okay, I guess. So you give up your day off. You go in there. You work like 6 hours, because like by the time they call you and you get a shower, get all that. And then the last day of your work week at your store, they go, hey, we need you to leave at 1 o'clock. Or, what do you mean? My shift ends at 6. Yeah, well, we can't have you going into overtime. The fuck you mean? So you're telling me I gave up my day off and I'm not going to get to keep those hours? That's a dick move, bro. By the way, this video may have some not family-friendly language in it. I'll try not to do that too bad. But yeah, like, they really screw you over, and like, abuse from the company is another good one, because you get told you can get written up for not selling those battery packets. Like, if you sold 6 batteries and you didn't sell at least 5 battery packets, they might write you up. No, I'm not joking. They will do that. And then, like, another one that I don't know if I'd necessarily call it abuse from company or call it a pay thing, but we all know what happened in 2020. And then all of a sudden we're hearing, all right, here, I'll try to make this pretty clear. So, at the store I worked in, on an average day, we would see between 160 to 190 customers a day. And when everybody was told, stay home, save lives, we started seeing between 220 to 280 customers a day. Nobody was staying home. So we're hearing how other companies are giving their employees hazard pay. Now, personally, I didn't give a shit. But we're hearing that, this company here is paying their employees, $1 an hour more or whatever. So I started going to our upper management about that, and they say, oh, well, we can't afford to do that. What do you mean? We're bringing in more, on average 100 customers a day, not counting commercial. And you guys are talking about, oh, this is the biggest quarter we've had. But giving me an extra $1 an hour is out of the question. like, I understand how money works in a business. That's not really like cash going into the CEO's pocket, but you know, it was just weird because like we're being told how we're basically heroes for still being there, and how the company couldn't do it without us. But oh, you'd like a little more money? Nah. Well, here, we'll let you buy pizza. So yeah, that was really BS. And then the customers, like, some of you guys think that you're now. Bear in mind, AutoZone does hire a lot of people who have never held a tool in their hand before. But these are just some really crappy wire strippers. But have never held a tool before. But every customer, well, not every customer, because a lot of customers think that we're freaking mechanics. Um, but a lot of customers walk in there with that Ron Swanson attitude of, welcome to Lowe's. I know more than you, and then But but what some customers never really realize is that some of us took the job pretty seriously, and we actually took time to figure out what the computer wants us to type in. Yes, you come in and say, "Oh, I need a stabilizer link for a Jeep." Why are you typing in sway bar? I didn't ask for a sway bar. I asked for a stabilizer. You do realize that's the same thing, right? And you do realize that that's what the computer is going to ask me for. But like a lot of customers are just, I mean, like you got to understand. Sometimes when customers are in there, they are. I understand not every customer is exactly having the best day that they could have. you know, things are, they need an alternator because their car is broken down, and they need the car for work in the morning. Just don't be a dick to me. Um, but yeah, because like I said, I was a commercial sales manager. I really didn't work out front. But like, I mean, hell, we've had customers threaten to come back with guns. We've had customers, oh, I'm going to get you fired over like the stupidest things. And like, I can give you an example. Again, this is not why I quit. I'll get into why I quit in a few minutes here. But like, I remember a girl that came in one day, and I don't know how to say traditional, but she was wearing Muslim garments. And what I would do most of the time, because my desk was in the back, if I see that they're getting their ass handed to them out front, I would go around the back, come up at the register, and be like, hey, anybody that's ready to ring out, you don't need parts looked up, you're good to go, come here, I'll ring you out. And, while I was ringing up a customer, one of my commercial lines called, and, I picked up, I said, hey, the customer's name, can you give me 1 second? I got a customer in front of me. I'm finishing up. I'll be just a second. Put the phone on hold, and as the customer's walking away, I pick up the phone and I, bring up his account, and this girl comes up. Hey, I'm like, just give me 1 second, please. I'm with a customer. She walks away, and then walks back up, and at this point, I'd already said, hey, just give me a minute. Starts saying, talking to me again, and I said, ma'am, I'm with a customer. So she gets back in line, because she's cut in line at this point, too. And comes back over a third time. And, I said to the customer, because, like, we're looking up a bunch of things for a car. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was like a suspension job. And so I said, hey, give me 1 second to my customer. And I put the phone on hold and went back to the manager's desk, picked up, and then when I heard somebody ask her if she needs help, no, I want that racist MFer to help me, blah, 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 blah. I want the phone number for corporate. You guys don't like Muslims. And oh my God. I'm sitting here listening to this, and then she walks out, and then like a couple hours later, I get a call from the district manager. Hey, do you know what happened with this woman? And I explain exactly what happened. I give my side of the story, and he says, "All right, I'm going to look at the cameras." He goes, "I trust you. I just want to look at the cameras just to be sure." Calls me back probably like another hour later. It's like, "Hey, exactly what you said happened. Don't worry about it." But I'm willing to bet he gave her like free gift cards and other BS. Like, just come in, we'll give you all the free stuff you want. Because that's the other thing. You know, like you see customers that have product that was abused, or a lot of times what we find was they try to return their old product as new, or something, and yeah, just like they're trying to return their old product. Like they get brake pads, and then they go, "Oh well, I didn't need them." "Oh well, I never opened the box." Like when you open up and it has like their used brake pads, and or some sort of warranty issue, and so we're told to protect the inventory, but then they'll call management, and management tells us to make the customer happy. Why have this rule if you're not going to enforce it? I really don't get it. And like we would get that shit all the time, because like we'd find, because like they would get try to think of what's a good example, an alternator that clearly had was underneath of a leaking valve cover gasket, or even a starter covered in grease and oil. "Oh well, it's defective." It's like, well, it's not defective. Your valve cover was leaking. Dumping oil down in this alternator. What did you think was going to happen? Stuff like that. But then we're told to make the customer happy. Like, come on, man, really? Y'all got to do this stuff to us? And the stupidest thing, and I don't know if this is every AutoZone, but this was definitely our AutoZone. Customers with the lifetime brake pads, like they're buying the cheapest brake pads, and then just every time they wear out, they come in and get them replaced for free. And then when I had said something to upper management at one point about it, and they said, "Well, that gets the customer in the door when they come in for the brake pads. That's basically pennies to us. They'll buy oil, they'll buy filters, they'll buy calipers. It's like, no, they'll come in with a set of brake pads and just go, swap them out, please, and not buy anything else. And because that counts as a transaction, because you didn't sell them brake grease, that counts towards your WIT. So so the manager will be like, "Well, you sold 23 sets of brake pads yesterday, but you only sold 22 things of brake grease." Well, one of them was a swap out, and the customer was not going to spend a penny in that fucking store. And it's just like, what the hell, man? And and then like they just like during COVID, like suddenly you can't buy bleach anywhere, you can't buy Lysol wipes anywhere, you can't buy anything anywhere, you can't order the stuff through our systems. But they wanted us to wipe down everything between each customer when we're having 100 customers a day, more than we already did. They want us to wipe down between each customer while every customer is being impatient about everything. And then they switched us back to like a one truck a day or one truck a week thing, which gave us like 9 pallets a week. But we're supposed to get it done in a day when we have 2 customers. It's just like stuff like that. It's like you're two employees. Um, so it's the pay, the customers, the ridiculous requirements. They really expected you to go out above and beyond for people that were not going to really give a shit. But then here's why I quit. Again, I was a commercial sales manager, and we had our store manager go out in what it was either April or March of 2021 with blood pressure issues. Left us with no manager. We had an assistant manager who was doing the best she could, but she was very overwhelmed. And so at this point, the two highest people in the store were me and her. And we were doing the best we could. We had we had met, two PSMs quit, which left us with the only people with gray shirts were me, her, and one PSM. My best driver had just came back from he fell down the steps and like shattered his femur, so he was out for quite a while. And then I had just him as a driver. I was borrowing drivers from other stores. I'm taking deliveries myself, but it was in the middle of May. Might have been the beginning of. It worked out to about 6 weeks, so I'd say the middle of May. I sent out a long email, just putting it out there. I sent it to regional managers, back to the store manager, so it would pop up in their mailbox. DM, TSM, loss prevention, like everybody above me. Like, look, you want to know why I can't perform? This is why. So we are, at this point, it's me and two unnamed employees run the store. We only had like 2 red shirts. Like, people are just making up their own hours. Like, they're on the schedule, but they just show up whenever because, what the hell? Who's going to fire me? And I can't get my deliveries out. At one point, many times I'm taking deliveries, sometimes in my own vehicle. And my at the time ex-wife and I were talking, and she's like, "Well, if you need to quit, just quit. We can handle it till you get another job." Okay. I didn't want to do it, but so I sent this email. I'm like, "Look, you want to know why certain numbers aren't being hit? Every time you come in here, or every time my TSM comes in here, what do you need? I need help. I don't have a backup. I don't have drivers. I have 3 trucks, and I only have one ass to put in them." They ask the other employees in the store, "What does Eric need?" Eric needs help. They ask the customers, Eric needs help. He's overwhelmed. He needs help. I said, "Well, this is my final call for help." And I told him, I said, if I do not have a store manager and a CS by June 30th, I walk. So about 2 weeks before our inventory, they sent in a bunch of people from other stores to help us get planograms done because we were about 60 planograms behind because we didn't have the employees. And here's another thing. This goes back to pay and technically abuse from the company. Around this time, around like Christmas time, end of Thanksgiving, Christmas time, they start cutting hours on people. Like, people that are full time, they'll cut back to 36 or 38 hours, and then part timers, they do even dirtier. And that's the same time that they release planograms. They will drop 40 sales floor planograms at the same time they cut 40 hours a week from you. How are you going to get these done if you only have 2 people in your store? You're not. Anyway, so they started coming and doing these planograms, and they half-assed every single one of them. And like the week I quit, I had done the oxygen sensors, and I did the oxygen sensors, fuel. There's oxygen sensors and a couple other planograms in the back. Oh yeah, the week before that, I had done the tie rods and suspension, and then they dropped another planogram like 3 weeks after I did that on that. And I'm telling, because in this email I was telling them I can't sell parts that are sitting in totes. I said we don't have enough people to do the planograms, and when I go to pull an item off the shelf, and it's not there, I have to dig through totes to find out if it's here at all, which is, it says it is, or if the DC screwed us over, or somebody stole it. you know, so they sent people in. They half-assed. The one girl spent 2 days doing, I think it was the brake hardware, and got basically nothing done. So and the only reason they were doing that was not because we needed help, but because we had inventory coming up. So when they come in and do inventory, it's basically management from a bunch of other stores coming in. They bring their scanners from their store and they just scan. Well, if something's not in the right planogram, they literally just throw it on the floor. And the day of the inventory, I said to the store manager, "Hey, by the way, Friday's the 30th." Oh, right after the email, he sent me, or he called me and says, "Hey, I know it's not what you asked for, but I got you a $2 an hour raise." I said, "I don't," and I said to him on the phone, I said, "I don't give a shit about the raise. Get me people in the store." I said, "I will give you," I said, "I would rather you take that $2 an hour and pay another person to come in that store." "Oh, okay." Well, they gave me the raise anyway. And our 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 regional manager was within earshot, and he says to me, "Oh, I thought you said the raise was enough." I said, his name, "Don't you fucking lie in front of the regional manager." I almost said their names. I don't want to do that. And he turned his head around. I said, "You know damn well," I said to you, "I don't give a fuck about that $2 an hour raise. I need people in this store. What are you going to do about it?" He's like, "Could you just give me a little bit more time?" I said, "I'll give you a little bit more time." I said, "But you've already had 6 weeks." And there was this one day, everything was literally falling apart. It was a Wednesday. I started, as I was trying to get truck ready, and an argument occurred between me. Well, actually, I went on a bunch of deliveries while I was trying to do that. Come back, I'm getting everything all ready and staged in the back room. And the girl that was working up front asked me about something. I said, "No, the last time I saw it, this woman put it over here while I was trying to get things through here." And it was a big misunderstanding, but it turned into a blowout. And as I was taking things outside and coming back in, I was taking stuff like my Bluetooth speaker, my label maker, my iced tea maker, a bunch of stuff that I made or brought in. And I got everything in the store, and I counted my drawer down, and I walked out an hour early. And so I had that Thursday off, and I woke up in the morning, and I said to her, I said, "Hey, you talked about me quitting. Are you sure we can do this?" She's like, "Yeah." So I said, "All right, I'm going back to bed." Laid back down for another couple hours, and then went and turned in my key, and at that point I was done with AutoZone. And I don't really hold anything necessarily. That particular or district manager cost us one of the best store managers we ever had. And he was a great cook too. That manager, he was, man. If he brought in his barbecue, that'd change your life. Uh, but he he had been a loyal employee, I want to say 12 or 13 years. And this district manager, he said something, and the store manager had another company trying to get him to come to them, and so this store manager said what he did, and he says, I'll take you up on your offer. So he put in, I think, like a month. Like he gave like way longer than he should have notice, and it was sad. It's sad to see him go, but I'm glad. But he's doing so much better in his life. And then this district manager, when part of if you're ever in an accident in an AutoZone vehicle, part of what you need to do is talk to the store manager. One of the people I had as a CS for a short period of time before she got her own store, she was in an accident. Called the or the district manager. He goes, "Why you call me? Because you're on the chain of command." But he was just. We used to say that he was a robot. He was, but like even robots might show more emotion. And it was just he was a bad district manager. I had an opportunity to go back last year, but I really liked the company I work for. I really came this close because they were offering me like $3 an hour more than I'm making now, and I came real close, and I'm just starting to remember why I left. And I told him, I said, "There's another district manager in that area." I said, "You guys like to play the roulette game, and if I end up with him the day I have him as a district manager, I quit." And they're like, "Well, we'll make sure it doesn't happen." Like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Don't lie to me again. Because the district manager that was there was what I liked. In the 5 years I was there, I had 6 store managers, 6 TSMs, 6 district managers, and 2 regional managers. Do you think they can keep people? I don't. I think I've rambled enough. I I really don't know, man. It's like, oh, excuse me. I don't really hold anything against the company, I, per se, like personally. Corporations are going to corporate. It's like it is what it is. So anyway, I'm actually pushing the limit. I'm looking over here at OBS. I'm pushing the almost close to what I had for gameplay footage. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. If you have any questions on this, please ask. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff. I started to write a script because I wanted to keep on topic, but I suck at script writing. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.